Well, welcome to the realm of Millenia, be ye a man, a woman, a child, a spirit, a creature, or demon, be ye a native migrator, or maybe even invader into the realm. Welcome, for I am your host, the Millennium Mailman, here today, joining you guys and gals, and I'll be world building for you long after you've already begun to acclimate and fit in, so go ahead, sit back, relax, and please do enjoy, as I'll be doing a Storytime Saturday for you, part 2 of Guys Night Conversation. Oh my gosh, something fell off his truck. So, Guys Night Conversation was all about 3 specific things. First 2 was talking about what exactly is protest and peaceful protest all about, what's it for, what's the purpose. And then the second was talking about what exactly is sovereignty. What's it mean to be sovereignty, national sovereignty, sovereign citizen, and all that? And what exactly is the establishment of sovereignty, right? And again, our discussions were without phones, so no one try to come at us if I'm just story timing and articulating what we talked about and what decisions we came to. Don't try to come at me. This conversation I'm reenacting for you was done without cell phones and thus without dictionary definitions of it. Okay? But, yeah. Right? And so part 1 talked about protest and the 3 particular sides that we were kind of talking to and debating on. One side was saying that the whole point of protesting was to make other people uncomfortable. Another side, which is stark opposition to, was saying that no, protesting was all about making yourself, the person protesting, uncomfortable. Hey, you make yourself uncomfortable till you sway enough people. And then there's that final side, which you can consider a neutral party, like, hey, no, protesting is just protesting, and all protesting is you voicing your things and seeing how many more people agree with you. It's not about swaying anything, it's about establishing that you are not the only person out here. You're protesting agreement, right? You're protesting in order to establish like a petition. And why does it gotta be so complicated about blame and discomfort? Who hurt you? Why would protesting ever be about discomfort, right? And part 1, I established what the stance and reason behind the purpose being, like, to make other people uncomfortable, and the whole rationale behind that, and what I gave as my rebuttal. And then that completes my review. And today I am going to further down the rabbit hole of the other 2 perspectives to the protest part of the conversation of Guys Night, where in opposition to the idea that protesting and peaceful protest is all about making other people uncomfortable, you have those who said peaceful protest is all about making yourself uncomfortable in an artful way that convinces and sways other people to agree with you so that you could change people's minds. Protest is about swaying your opposition and swaying those on the fence to agree into agreeing with you. Right? So I am driving. Those are the main 2 aspects of the conversation. And the one side was saying, hey, we need to make other people uncomfortable, and just for the sake of the argument, like, and that the left wing side of the discussion was saying that the whole point of protesting was to make other people uncomfortable, and the right-wing side of the discussional argument was saying, no, you got to make yourself uncomfortable. You are the one who has to do the things. You are the people who, if you got a problem and that you're protesting, you have to make yourself uncomfortable and put yourself in the situation to enact the change, right? If the change is that you need support and you need to get other people to agree with you in order to rally behind a movement and a cause, then what you need to do is do something that you might consider to be uncomfortable and sway enough people to rally behind your cause. If the point is to get numbers, you need to do the thing to get numbers. You need to do the uncomfortable thing. You need to be able to get other people to be comfortable and be at peace with what you're advertising. If you're advertising for yada yada, if you want to garner support for abortion and stuff, the one protesting, needs to go out there and protest. Not a lot of people can say protesting is an awesome, I wish I could make a career earning money out of protesting. Who does that? Protesting in the cold states like New York and Minnesota, where it's freezing cold, you gotta be outside. Protesting in places that can get violent real fast. That is not someone's dream life and career, right? But it's a part of your responsibility that if you're going to protest, the point, you have to be the one to go out there and do the thing. Otherwise, who would? Who's going to rally behind you and your cause if all you're ever going to do is sit at home in your mother's basement complaining about this and that, right? Who's going to want to really get up in arms and do anything you're saying when you can't do the bare minimum of getting up and doing that quote-unquote bare minimum? Yeah, we need to dethrone that king of a president, but you're still flat on your butt praying for the day someone else is going to get off theirs and execute Order 66, right? You're gonna be up in arms demanding that people execute Order 66, but in the name of the Sith, but your butt has not moved in decades. You're pooping dust. How long you've been sitting there doing nothing. You gotta get up and be a part of the movement. Protesting is about doing things that garnish the support, that garnish not only the empathy, but the moral high ground and the actual participation of others. It's not about making other people uncomfortable. Protesting is about making you yourself uncomfortable enough to sway other people into basically converting into agreement. You have to sway, you have to do, right? The left-hand side of the argument was saying you need to do whatever it takes to make other people uncomfortable. The right-hand side of the argument is saying, no, you just got to do whatever it takes to make especially if whatever it takes makes you uncomfortable, in order to make others comfortable with joining you. Whatever you got to do to make other people comfortable and joining you and agreeing with you, you got to do it. Because that's what your protest is about. Garnishing the support, getting the help, getting the aid. And that's not going to happen so long as you stay comfy-wumpy, doing jumpy-wumpy. If you ain't going to do nothing, but you're just going to be sitting there looking not so pretty, nothing will ever happen. Those are hands on the right hand of the guys' night campfire conversation. The one side saying, hey, we need to make everyone else uncomfortable so that they change and convert to agreeing with this. And you have the other half saying, no. Protest is about you being uncomfortable and doing whatever uncomfortable thing needs to be done in order to make other people comfortable with joining you in your cause. And then you had that centralized neutral party that, before that, my rebuttal. Well, my rebuttal for that right-hand side was that, hey, if protesting is all about self-sacrifice until you have what you need, at what point is the cutoff? Because if the point of protesting is self-sacrificing and making yourself uncomfortable, everyone's got a breaking point. So it really shouldn't at all be about that, because I think that's my boy. I'm gonna tomater this and back up. There we go. There he is. But ultimately, if the whole point is to self-sacrifice, at what point?
Where were you?
What do you mean, where was I?
Did you just pull through?
Ow.
Cause I was in there. I came out. I was like, oh, I'm just sitting there.
4:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you got hard-boiled eggs.
You're welcome.
Thank you, man.
At what point do we stop sacrificing? If it's about making yourself uncomfortable and doing what you gotta, doing what you might consider to be uncomfortable until you get the results that you want and are demanding, then at what point do we end up stop self-sacrificing? Because everyone joining the cause and joining and supporting only has so much they can give. You can only give so much before there's nothing left to give. So at what point in this altruistic cause do we got here? Do we stop protesting and just turn violent? Because if peaceful protest is all about self-sacrifice, at what point do we stop allowing ourselves to be sacrificed and acknowledge that no change is being made? Because surely it's not going to work all the time, because there is always going to be people who disagree. There's always going to be some form of opposition who's going to do anything and everything in their power to make sure what you're saying and what you're doing and what you want done doesn't happen. Right? So how is that version of peaceful protest any better than the other one saying the purpose is to make other people uncomfortable? Alright? So we got that perspective that protest and peaceful protest is all about making other people uncomfortable into agreeing, and you have the other side saying that peaceful protest is all about making yourself uncomfortable. And then what else other perspective is there? And the last perspective, just to fill out the triad that we had, was protesting is all about protesting, voicing the opinion to find out the truth. How many of you guys are there that disagree? Right? Protesting may not always that, hey, what if protesting isn't really always about figuring out the majority or even figuring out the change? It's just about noticing the truth, so that, hey, maybe we just need an exception, right? Protest is about protesting and getting your voice heard. Like, hey, what if we aren't the majority? What if we aren't the majority, but there's just 20% of us who disagree, and heavily disagree at that? Can't we have some form of exception to the rule for the 20% of us? Because 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but when we can address the fact that there's over 1 billion of us, all right? 20% of 1 billion people, that's a large sum. Over 200 million people disagree with you, right? That's over 200 million people protesting our voices that we very greatly disagree and heavily disagree with you. Is a understandably sizable sum, right? We're not saying protesting is about making anyone uncomfortable. No. Protesting is all about figuring out exactly who has a problem with it, period. Who doesn't agree? Okay, we tallied the numbers, we have the results. Over 200 million people disagree with you, good sir. And because there's over 200 million people who disagree with you, you need to recognize us rather than silence us, because that is true freedom of speech right there. Over 200 million of us have an issue with you, good sir. Enact some change or make some sort of exceptions. Make a secondary bill that supports us and the problems we have with you. Otherwise, you're going to have some over 200 million people ready to cause problems for you, good sir. Protesting is about finding those who have like minds and disgruntlement to whatever is going on. We got 200 million people protesting. Hey, I don't think that was a wise idea, good sir. We have 200 million people saying, hey, I actually like my immigrants where they are. You got 200 million people saying, hey, I like the drugs as they are. I'm a weekly purchaser, or I'm a daily buyer into the drug communities. Okay, I really do like those. For medicinal use, of course, for medicinal use. Right? You have 200 million people like, oh, we may not be the majority, but we are the ones directly being affected by this, and it's not even financially. We're the ones being emotionally or physically hurt by this, and not in a financial manner. We don't stand to gain anything literally substantial, but by this particular thing, but we stand to lose a lot. Our mental peace, our security, our emotional security, our this, that. We stand to lose a lot, but we don't stand to gain anything by keeping this or trying to sway and change you. We just don't want to lose anything more, or just care not to lose this particular thing that we do like and enjoy that we currently have. And for all of those stances, my rebuttal if I get hit while recording this video, I'm gonna be mad. Stop riding my bike, bud. Bumper stumper, man. Brown nose in my rear. Golly, dude. But yes, the third stance was that what if protesting is just about protesting? Right? Just finding out who agrees and who doesn't. And my rebuttal was that protesting was all about change, and we established that at the very beginning, invoking change. So on some level, it's got to be more than just finding out who, right? So my rebuttal to the neutral party in the argument was like, hey, we kind of agreed that in the very beginning, protest was all about change. Something has to shake and make the shake, wait, shake, right? Where in there and your stance on this argument is the actual change going to be done, right? Because what you seem to be voicing was much less a protest and more of a petition, right? If you just want to find the numbers, if all you really want isn't really an actual enactment of anything, you just want to find the numbers, that's what they allow. That's what a petition is. I'm petitioning for this, that, can I please have your signature in order to convince the Gondwas that, right? That's not as much less of a protest and more of a petition, right? There are different kinds of petition. That's a different argument. Protesting is just protesting. It's like, right? Which again, petition is on a like weird level kind of a protest, but yeah, I wouldn't want to mark it as the same. But it sounds like you're just petitioning. Sign my petition for this, that. I want more furry novels in the school system programs. There isn't enough for my child who's a Apache helicopter and wants to dress up as Thomas the Tank Engine this year and doesn't want to feel shamed. He wants more furry books in his classrooms. Will you sign my petition to let him have his furry books in his classrooms by his favorite author? Are you going to be a part of the bigots shunning him? Right? That's not the same. I wouldn't want to classify that the same as a protester protesting, but I guess. Because I really didn't have much against that last argument other than the fact that I just didn't genuinely feel like a protest. It was like it sounds like you're just trying to gather names and get signatures on a piece of paper. When papers don't do anything, people do something. So I was like, my rebuttal was effectively just laughing at that last one. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like there was little to really target about that one, so I pretty much just laughed. I articulated myself just fine, but I ultimately just laughed at the entire argumentative discussion for him. I was like, protesting is just protesting. Like, I don't know. Oh, I love you. But hey, that's just me, your Millenia Mailman. If you did like and enjoy, leave a like. Comment down in the comment section down below your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and opinions. Share the video for more exposure. Subscribe if you feel like it. But always, peace. Right? Part 3 to Guys Night Combo next Saturday, I guess. Talk some more.